Guitars and Drums here with lesson number 1 on how to play the guitar. Now, whether acoustic or electric, I'm going to show you on an acoustic guitar, but the same thing applies with the electric guitar. Now, hopefully at this point you do have a guitar with you, and you also have some kind of tuning system. I highly recommend using a tuning system like a snark or a tuner rather than the old school. Okay, rather than doing that, because what happens is every time you go to tune a string, all right, it changes the tension, the overall tension on the neck of the guitar. Okay, from down here, from the bridge, clear up here to the machine heads. Okay, that needs to be a certain tension, and that's why I highly recommend 10 gauge strings, because 10 gauge strings bring out the proper tension in a guitar neck and the body to give you the proper tone that you need. I've talked about that before in the other lesson. If you need to go back, you can go back and watch the introduction lesson. Now, you need to tune your guitar, and starting from the big string to the small string is E, A, D, G, B, and E. Okay, which eat a darn good breakfast early is a good way to remember that, okay? And we're going to be in concert A, 440 hertz today, so that we're all on the same page. You can also tune your guitar into 432 hertz, which is known as natural A, by just tuning it to everything is one half step flat. So instead of E, you would be D sharp. Instead of A, you would be G sharp. Instead of D, you would be C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, and then back to D sharp again would be your tunings if you do 432 hertz. But today we're in concert A. So this is E, A, D, G, B, and E. All right, and that's the open position. That's just open. I'm just strumming with my thumb here. Now when it gets to picks, okay, there's different picks that you can use. I brought some examples today. All right, so you've got, you probably can't get these anymore, but this is just an example of, this is a thicker pick, this is a thinner pick. I also recommend these Jim Dunlop picks, especially if you're an electric guitar player and you're going to be doing a lot of pick scraping. These Jim Dunlop 88s, it's like a medium level pick, and these will really scrape your guitar really well. There's also Jazz 3 picks. Interesting story about the Jazz 3 picks, and these are the Eric Johnson version. The Jazz 3 picks, Eric Johnson teaches that when you use the Jazz 3 pick or the Eric Johnson pick, it actually retrains your hand to pick a little more accurately and a little more professionally in certain ways. And so it really does. And then when you go back to a normal size pick, the normal size picks kind of seem clumsy. So depending on, whether you're going to use a heavy pick or a medium pick or a thin pick, you're just going to have to experiment with that as you go along. I highly recommend, especially for electric guitars, to just use Ernie Ball, 10 gauge strings. You could also go with the elixirs. The nano webs is all I recommend if you do that. That's a coated string, a little more expensive. But the Ernie Balls are a balanced string. Now, so I'm going to show you the open chords, all right? These are the open major chords. Remember, major chords are happy sounding and minor chords are sad sounding, all right? So for this first chord, A, you're going to be on this second fret, okay? And your A string is this second string that's open, okay? That's your root string. It's called your root string, all right? So then you're going to take your first 3 fingers. Now this is the hard position for A, and I'll show you an easy position for A. The hard position for A and the correct position is 1, 2, 3 on your fingers, okay? And you're going to leave the A string open, all right? So you're going to start there on the second fret with the D string and the G string and the B string, all right? And that's going to give you your proper A. And you're mostly going to be playing these 4 strings here, the middle 4 strings. That gives you your A. Now you can go all the way if you want, But don't hit the big string, the E, okay? You don't want that one in there. Just from A, your root down, okay? And that is your A. Now, you can also just use one finger. This is a one-finger method, and do the same thing. As you play guitar, you will develop finger strength, okay? And you'll develop finger strength, and you'll develop some calluses till you'll be able to, because you've really got to smash down. You can't be, gentle with the guitar. All right, you got to be hard on it. You got to push down hard on these strings in order to get that sound out, okay? That's your A. All right, now B is real tricky, because you're going to take that A that you just learned. Oh, and by the way, there's one more A. You could take your first finger and your second finger, and you can push down on the two strings right there with the second finger and just add that first one. That's another little sneaky little trick for your A major chord, okay? So for B major, you're going to take the same process except with your second, third, and fourth fingers, and you're going to bring them down to the D string, the G string, and the B string on the fourth fret, okay? And then you're going to bar. This is going to be your first bar lesson you learn here. And you're going to bar from the A string all the way down to the E string there. And this is going to give you your B. Now B is an extremely difficult chord, okay? They also do it like this as well, where they just do this down. That's also B. And the cheat, easy way to do it is your first finger here on the second fret, and just your third and your fourth there for more like a power chord. They call these power chords. So that's the easiest way to do B. Now I'm going to go back real quick. Here's your open A, all right, your open chord A major, all right. This is also A major, but this is a bar. You're going to want to learn how to do this as well, okay? And with a bar, as crazy as it sounds, all right, you're going to smash down all the strings with one finger on this fifth fret. Okay, you got to be able to count your frets up. Usually they have dots on them. The third fret, the fifth fret, seventh, ninth, and 12th. All right, is usually how they do that with the dots. And a lot of guitars have the dot markers on the guitar face as well, on the face of the neck as well. Okay, so here you're going to bar the fifth fret, your first finger, the whole thing. All right, and then you're gonna find your G string with your second finger, and then you add your third and your fourth on A and D. And this is A major bar chord, okay? So you got A, open A major chord here, or actually like this, all right? And then you've got the bar. Same thing with B, okay? As we did the B chord, okay? You bar it up here to the seventh fret, the same thing as you did with A, the A bar, except you do the B. And this is B major bar chord, okay? So now let's get back to the rest of the chords really quick, all right? You've got C chord. C chord, you're going to do your third, your second, and your first finger like this, all right? This is C major. You can also do a trick, an Eric Johnson trick I call it, where you do 3 and 4 up here, and then you find your second and your first for C, okay? Which is the A string third, the D string the second, and your first finger is on the B string on the first fret. That's your C major, all right? D is very simple. You're going to do the second fret, first finger, second finger, third finger, like this, exactly like that. This is your D position. Okay, open chord D position, and you can go all the way from the A string even if you would like. Okay, that's your D chord. Okay, and then your E chord is very interesting. Most people do it like this with a first, second, and a third right there. And you're going to go with the big string on this one all the way from the big. This is E major here. I do a cheat method where you do your second, your third, and your fourth there, so you can go right to your F very simply without having to change big positions like your root position from E major here to F major, okay? It's more of a transition to do this to this than it is if you're already in your bar position, all right? And then just add your bar for F and G, okay? And that's your bar positions. Now C, D, okay, E, and your F is very interesting. It's going to be your first finger on those two strings, and then your second and your third there. This is your F. And another difficult chord, it's a lot easier to just bar it on your F chord. But this is how you do your F chord here, okay? Okay? And in your G, finally your G, which is first, second, and third. All right, and I'm probably out of tune at this point. That's going to be your G chord. Okay, F, G, G bar, and G major open chord. And I'm probably out of tune at this point. So, but that is how you do the open major chords, guitars and drums out.